Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, you must become the victor. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about the fallout of the 2024 Video Game Awards. And there's just something I have to get off my chest. There's something that I have to say that has been just so incredibly frustrating, especially over the last couple years. But here it is. A game company will choose to go in a new art direction for a character. They will choose to take a series and then change the lore. They'll retcon important elements of it. They'll fundamentally change the aspect of what was once popular. And they'll make statements as obnoxious and as retarded as the one they made about Ciri being the main character, that the story was always about her. No, the story was not always about her. The story was about Geralt finding her, which is not the same thing. And so we have a fundamental problem here. You have a series that people love that is being changed, and people know why it's being changed. People are not in the dark ages like they were in 2011. They didn't understand, like, why are you making these alterations? Why are you sort of injecting these things? And then in 2013, we found out with all of these articles written by a bunch of mentally ill, deranged, narcissistic left-wing freaks that, oh, you hate gamers. You don't like gaming culture. You have a profoundly perverse view of the world, which basically takes humanity, male and female, and tries to turn them into this amorphous, disgusting, degenerate blob. Which is why there's no longer male and female, it's body type 1 and 2, because according to these deranged weirdos, you can basically be anything you want. You're sort of gender fluid, as it were. You can one day be a girl, one day be a boy, it doesn't really matter. What is truth anyway? But here's the problem. People are pointing out the fact that this is not Ciri. It doesn't look like Ciri, it doesn't sound like Ciri. You see the picture on the right, which is Ciri from the Witcher series. Very attractive. Looks awesome. You see the picture on the left. And that is supposed to be Ciri. Now, there are other pictures that I could choose from, but people are pointing this one out. She looks worse. She looks terrible. And I know that there's so much cope. I've seen people that are freaking out about this, but here's the thing. I don't like this change. I don't think this improves the character. I don't think it improves the franchise. I don't think it does anything to help Witcher. And I have seen so many people losing their mind over people realizing this, acknowledging this, and vocalizing it. They're using terms like you're crying, you're freaking out, you're crashing out. They're using all this terminology when at the end of the day, people like Endymion, myself, and others are just vocalizing what we see and what we don't like and the reason why. And this has bothered people to such a fundamental degree that they have to cry and whinge and go on this mentally ill spree because they can't handle the fact that the character looks worse. This character on the left does not look like Ciri. The character on the right is Ciri. That is Ciri. That's what she looks like. That's what we remember her as. Her voice, her look, her aesthetic. What we see on the left, it reminds me of like late season Lagertha from Vikings. And that's not what I want. That's not what anyone who is a fan of Witcher, a true fan of Witcher, wants. But these simps and these suckers and these backbenchers and these degenerates and these freaks, they get so mad simply because people have a difference of opinion and they cannot understand it. They don't want to understand it. They think it's some nefarious thing. I don't like it because it's a change and we know why the change is happening. It's not that the change is happening. We know why it's happening. We've seen the behind the scenes at CD Projekt Red. We've seen their DEIB inclusion, programs and their need to virtue signal to this mentally ill phantom audience. And it's a phantom audience because it's a couple people on the internet. Normal people don't want anything to do with this. That's why Trump got elected. That's why these studios are shutting down, because when you have games like Concord, and you have games, and we're going to be talking about Intergalactic, believe me. But when you have these games that make these changes, and then these people say, well, why do you care? Well, why did you care enough to change and alter not only the character, but the fundamental lore of the franchise? And we're going to talk about it real quick. Because they don't just change the character, they don't just change how she looks, they change the fundamental nature of her. So now Ciri is a Witcher. How can a female and an adult be a Witcher? Well, she can't. But according to these people at CD Projekt Red who have realized that people are questioning this, they're like dropping behind the scenes videos and trying to do some song and dance, like, oh no, you see, this makes sense because we're going to explain it in the game. We're going to explain what Ciri actually could be a Witcher all along. And, it's like, no, my answer is just no at this point. Enough is enough. It was not a fait accompli that Ciri was going to be the main character of the next game. But if you are going to have Ciri as the main character, this is who I want. I want this character, because this is the character that I know. I don't know this character. Does this look like Ciri to you? Be honest. Like, if you saw this without knowing that it came from that, does that look like Ciri? No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. And the people that are simping and making excuses, there's nothing that you can say. There's no reasoning that you can put together why that drastic change was made. Other than you've got a bunch of meddlesome woke busybodies, a bunch of DEIB freaks that are activists that are trying to push this grotesquification or uglification of female characters in the West. And we've seen that over and over and over. This is not the first time that we're doing this. My frustration is because the first time that it happened, I thought, oh, these people are just misguided. These people don't understand that, no, our irritation is not that Ciri's a girl and girls can't do anything. Girls, it's like, no, there's like a lore, and, the lore is part of the reason we love the game, and it doesn't make sense that a female could be a Witcher, and, we're changing from Geralt, which is a huge change because people have gotten to know him and to love him, and to change the main character that drastically is it's fundamentally flawed in terms of its thinking, but they want to do that, fine. But then they're making all these other changes. Her personality in the trailer is awful. She's an unlikable, girl boss, and it just, every part of that trailer broke my heart. It was disappointing. And I know that there are going to be people that can't handle that fact. But the reality is that, well, you're in a delusional world where you're not paying attention to the fact that more people agree with me than agree with you. I don't mean that you can't get more likes and retweets from freaks and degenerates and people who are probably furries. You can certainly get affirmation from them. But when it comes to buying the game, supporting the game over the long term, being a fan, these people are fly by night. These people pretended to be Star Wars fans when they, Rey is the best thing ever. We love Rey. Where's the mass influx of new Star Wars fans? Where are they? Where are all the fans of all these games? Forspoken. Where's the fans of Forspoken? You got a diverse female character, a girl boss main character. DEI. Oh, where is the diehard loyal fan base? Oh, is it that it's a bunch of disgusting, degenerate, bottom-feeding, subhuman freaks that are just latching onto it for clout and to make themselves look good, but they don't actually give a shit? Could that be? They don't care about the lore because they don't care about the game? Oh, female Adeptus Custodes, of course. That makes sense. You can do whatever you want. It's just fiction after all. You see, the problem is not that Ciri is going to be the main character of a game. It's all the other stuff included with that. It's intentionally making her less attractive. It's changing the way that she looks. It's changing her attitude, changing everything about her. So she's no longer like this. She is like this. And this doesn't look anything like Ciri. This doesn't, it's terrible. It's a terrible design, it's a terrible look, just everything about it. And this is what they chose to put forward for the game. Now, there are going to be a bunch of people that glaze the asshole of this game, but I got to tell you, for me, it's just a no. I can't do it. I'm sick and tired of these companies making decisions that are at odds with their audience, and then their audience who have been fans and have paid money. Like I've bought The Witcher on so many different consoles. Like Witcher 3. I probably have The Witcher 3 on, it's got to be like the Switch, PS. I mean, I have it on so many different consoles. Like, I bought Witcher 3 so many different times because of how much I love the game. I love Witcher 1, I love Witcher 2. Witcher 3 I thought was a brilliant game. It was great. But for me, and I guess maybe this is different, I have what is called brand loyalty to a point. But it seems like there are other people that have brand loyalty to a degree that is several fold beyond what I'm capable of. Because I judge a company not based on their last game, but based on the collection of their work. And when I look at something like Cyberpunk 2077, I look at all the issues with that, and I look at some of the marketing that's been going on for the company, where they've been injecting this DEI garbage into their brand, into their reputation. I look at that and I go, it doesn't matter if The Witcher 3 was good, if I already start to see the signs of a stinking, rotting carcass that's been infected by the cancer of wokeness and identity politics, and then I see this trailer and it comes in a wave. But I'm so sick and tired of watching people on the internet, these just mental midgets, come at people like Endymion, come at people like me for no reason. I'm not attacking them personally. I'm voicing my opinion. I don't like the look. I don't like the aesthetic. I don't think this looks like Ciri. I don't like the changes that they're obviously going to have to make. That, oh no, she can become a Witcher and here's how. They're going to pervert and bastardize something that I've cared about for a long time, and they're not going to do it for any valid reason other than to appease a bunch of freaks on the internet. A bunch of people that are not really true fans and are not going to be fans for the long term. They're either going to be content creators that want to glaze the asshole to get in the good graces of this company, or they're going to be people that don't really care. They just don't want a culture war win to go to the far-right fascists. I look at this, and this is a major O. Okay? You can like the game. That's the thing. You can think that it looks great. You can think that, oh, this looks great, she looks great. That's fine. I'm not going to do what you freaks are doing and excoriate you for it. I just disagree with you vehemently. I think the design looks terrible. The aesthetics look terrible. Her personality, her attitude is not endearing. It doesn't make you want to know more about her or to invest yourself in her story. It's immediately off-putting. The girl bossification thing is always off-putting. It is always off-putting. And so you can do it, but I don't have to be interested. Because at the end of the day, you're a business. And you're making a product. You're making art, but you're not really making art, are you? You're making a product. You're not giving it away for free. You're expecting me to pay money for this, and my answer to you is no. You want Ciri's the main character? Fine. You do that. You go the route that a lot of these companies are going down with these masculine-looking unattractive feminist girl boss characters. You go and do that. And then after, you have to lay off a bunch of people at your company because you've failed and failed and failed again. Those frigid waters of unemployment, they are icy, they are cold. I'm telling you not to hit the iceberg. You're saying, no, this ship is resilient enough. This ship can go through that iceberg. I'm saying don't do it. You're saying, I'm going to prove you wrong. And you hit the iceberg. And now it may be slow, it may be quick, but you're going to sink. Because the reality is that you can't inject all of this crap into a beloved IP and expect it to stay afloat. The reason that it was able to glide through those waters so seamlessly is because everything was efficient. Everything was running like clockwork. And then you brought in a bunch of extra baggage, a bunch of dead weight, a bunch of bad ideas, a bunch of distractions. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what that amounts to, what that leads to, is people tuning out. Whether you agree or disagree, that's the reality. Meanwhile, these simps and suckers and freaks and, backbenchers and degenerates and other retards, they would pretend to like the game if it was the way that I like it. They'd pretend to like the game if it was the way that I liked it. But I'm not going to pretend to like the game. I don't like what I see. I don't like the aesthetic. I don't like the feel. I don't like the girl bossification. I don't like the fact that they've gone the alloy route, or the alloy. They've gone the route of Horizon Zero Dawn. They've gone this path of taking attractive female characters and turning them into, unattractive characters. She doesn't look as good as she did. Whether you want to argue the minutiae of that, it's just an observable fact. This is a character that has a defining look. This looks like it could be from any game. This does not look like Suri. Doesn't look like her. Just doesn't. Anyway, yeah, let's watch the trailer.
Dearest daughter, I've watched ye grow. From even forgive me, daughter. 'Twere my only choice.
I shall be the bringer of salvation.
A witcher? Witcher! Whose coin did ye take? Nay, ye can't. 'Tis tradition. Chosen she is, by the gods.
No! You chose her. Back to the village. Go, now.
Nay! I must save them! Save the village!
Save yourself!
Save yourself. Yeah. Of course. I mean, look. God. Save yourself. I have to save the village. Save yourself. How about instead of... look, I don't want to get into the minutiae and nitpick here. But I'll tell you why I don't like this character. It's not Suri. I mean, it's, fake Suri. I have to protect the village. If you're a paragon, or if you're like a heroic character, you want to be perceived immediately as likable. The correct response is something more akin to, I'll protect the village. I'm gonna, face this monster. But no, her advice to her is think only about yourself. Like, this girl is like, I'm willing to sacrifice myself for the village, which, of course, I think that the main character should come in and save her. But the message, it's just, in every one of these instances where they put a female character in charge, it's always this selfish, lacking an accountable character that they've made ugly. It made uglier than before, and they make these alterations, and they make these changes, and they do this, and we know why they do this, and it's despicable, and it's disgusting, and it's wrong, and there's a reason why people are so immediately off-put by it, and the only people that affirm this stuff are freaks, and I mean freaks, bottom feeders, disgusting people. You look at these people on the internet. You've got people that just affirm the stuff for the sake of looking good. And in my opinion, it's because they have something to hide. There's no reason to pretend that this stuff looks good. It doesn't. Objectively, it doesn't. She does not look better than she did before. They made her uglier on purpose. They made a decision to do that. That was a determination that was made. Why was that made? And why is it that other countries outside of the West, not just America, the West, why is it that they have the ability to create female characters and not feel guilty about it, and don't ever feel the need to make them uglier? It blows my mind. Because I don't care if you want to have an older Sarah, you want to have her as an old woman. The fact of the matter is this. That you do this because you have an aversion to things that are good. You want to make things corrupt and perverse and old and withered and gross. You want to distort and taint what once was good. That's what you want to do. That's what I believe. That's why these people twist everything. Oh, the hero of the story has to be a woman in 2024. Why? Well, because, it's 2024. It's current year. I don't want to play as Ciri. I want to play as Geralt. Geralt is the Witcher. She's not a Witcher. Oh, but now she is, because we've retconned everything. Women can't be, Adeptus Custodes. They can't be Adeptus Custodes. They can't be Astartes. Oh, no, but they can. No, they can be Adeptus Custodes. They can absolutely be. Why? Because we just pulled it out of our ass. It's always been that way. There have always been that. No.
Run! To shelter! To your father! Run!
Oh, she's a Witcher. Yeah. How does that make sense? Well, it doesn't.
You cannot change.
And she kills the monster.
It's all we wanted. For her to go to the woods. To go to the gods.
Gods? There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
Yeah, you tell them, girl boss. It's like, oh, God. It's just... They don't understand. Or if they do, they intentionally pretend. That wasn't cool. That wasn't endearing. I don't feel more connected to this character. They've just made her insufferable, and it just breaks my heart. It does. Because I love the Witcher series, and they've turned it into something that it's not. And a bunch of freaks are going to now go on the internet, and they're going to play make-believe. Oh, it's always been this way. Don't you understand? It's like, God. And it'll be the same thing over and over and over again. Because these people are mentally ill, they're morally disgusting, and they don't understand that by them doing this, they're giving cover to the bad decisions of these corporations. Even though it's less than. Your standard, if you're one of these freaks, your standard may be so low that you will accept anything that you're given, but I'm not about that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. See you next time.